What's good, Spartans? Today's going to be a high of 77 and a low of 47, so get out there and enjoy that weather.
Yo, today is National Sleepover Day. So when you get done with school, why not go sleep over at your bestie's house?
Spartans, have a great rest of your day.
Alright, seniors, push through this week because it's going to be your last week of school.
Now back to Maya in the studio.
Thanks for the amazing intro, Mason.
Hey Gage, tell us what's up with the seniors.
Seniors, there is a senior survey that you have to do. Please go to this link to do so.
Thanks for the information, Gage.
Now let's talk about awards night for seniors with Camden.
Thank you, Andrea. Seniors, there's a lot of things we need to do this week. Starting on May 10th at 6:30, there's the in-person senior awards night. Not everyone will get awards, but everyone is welcome. Dress nicely because this is a formal awards ceremony. It'll last about 1.5 hours and will be in the auditorium. There will be a live stream at tinyurl.com/Sparta Live. On May 12th at 2:25 p.m., Maven Career Fair is due. On May 13th at 11:30 a.m., we have senior checkout. Bring all your materials, your books, Chromebooks, case, charger, as well as money for any fines you may still have. There will be an ice cream truck with sweet treats for all of our seniors after you complete your checkout. This will take about 90 minutes. Back to you, Maya.
Thanks, Cam. Make sure you attend.
Now on to Nathan for some information about the Parade of Graduates.
May 17th, 5:30 p.m. is the Parade of the Graduates. Line up at the high school front student parking lot. The parade will start at 6:30 p.m. for spectators. You'll need to get checked in with a teacher when you arrive. Students may decorate their cars appropriately. You are encouraged to wear your caps, gowns, and any award regalia that you may have earned. Students may ride together if they prefer, but all students in the backs of pickup trucks must be in chairs. Safety first.
Good to know, Nathus.
Now on to Kaylee for some info about graduation practice.
Thanks, Andrea. May 25th at 1 p.m. graduation practice. You must be at practice in order to participate in our graduation ceremony on the 26th. Ask off of work now. It will take about 90 minutes. You do not need to bring anything with you. Just report to the Spartan Stadium at 1 p.m. and we will run through all things related to the ceremony. Back to you, Maya.
Thanks, Kaylee. Seniors, make sure you are there.
Now on to Nick for some more graduation information.
Seniors, graduation will be May 26th. They want you to meet on the football field at 5:45. The gates for family members will also open at 5:45. We'd love everyone to attend. If they can't attend, there will be a link right here. Nice. And your family members who can't attend, or friends, or whoever, can watch. The march starts at 6:30, so they want you to be ready for that as well. Senior bash will be right after graduation. Ignore that. Senior bash will be right after graduation. The buses will meet at the front of the Sparta Stadium where the gates are. We'd love to see everyone there. Seniors, go have fun, enjoy your last week, and let's go graduate, hopefully. Go Blue. Go Blue. Back to the studio, whoever it is.
Thanks, Nick.
Now on to Eli about FAFSA information.
Attention seniors, if you missed the priority deadline for the FAFSA, you will still have an opportunity to qualify aid until June 30th. Fill out your FAFSA today. Get it done, seniors. If you have not applied to college, a trade school, military, a job, you still have time. Several local colleges and universities are taking applications. Submit a virtual yellow slip to see Mr. Shansky or Mrs. Converse if you have questions or need to apply.
Thanks, Eli.
Now let's see what Kobe has to say.
Thanks, Andrea. Listen, Spartans, we have a breakthrough challenge. If you are ages 13 to 18, you have a chance to win $250,000 in scholarships. You just have to create a 90-second video about a big idea of math, physics, or life sciences. If you want to compete, check out this link right here. All right? Get to it. Back to you, Maya.
Thanks, Kobe. Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I might have to look into that. Now on to Peyton for May Mental Health Awareness Month.
Thanks, Andrea. Attention Spartans. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. During this month, we're going to be collecting posters digitally and physically. Make sure to follow these guidelines right here. And you can submit them to these people right here. Now back to you, Maya.
Thanks, Peyton.
Now let's see what Maria has to say about prom.
Prom will be Saturday, May 14 at Cannon's Run from 7 to 10. Senior guests for underclassmen or out-of-district guests passed, please go to the office. Juniors and seniors, prom tickets are only gonna be sold until May 12th. Also, we will not be selling them at the door, so make sure you get them. Any questions, please contact Ms. Klassen or Mr. Graham.
Nice, Maria. Make sure you buy those tickets.
Let's see what the Lady Spartans accomplished at the Hopkins Invitational on Saturday.
Thanks, Andrea. The Lady Spartans put on a show at the Hopkins Invitational on Saturday, despite a few missing key components. The team pulled together and excelled, finishing a mere 5 points away from a trophy. Bella Valoni was a star, setting a PR and winning medals in all 4 of her events. Kennedy Wood was outstanding again, home 3 medals and helping her 4x400 team to a season record. Trinity Skowernack medaled in 3 events and helped set the 4x200 and 4x400 season records. Maddie Oddbeer earned 2 medals in addition to posting a great time in the 800 Open. Haley Pingborn stepped out of her comfort zone with a smile to meet last-minute team needs and earned points in 3 events, contributing to 4x200 and 4x400 season records. Abby Zurich set a PR in disc to go along with her medal, as Janila Mack. Isabel Elliott set a new pole vault PR, which earned her a silver medal. Jocelyn Garza earned points by making the 200-meter finals and her 4x200 team to a PR and a medal. Layla Valoni set her PR in both the 100-meter and the 100-meter hurdles. Anchoring the 4x100 relay and made the finals in the long jump, Erin Allister set her PR in the 800 and earned a medal in the 4x800. Chandria Weber helped her team score it in the 4x100 and 4x400 relays, grabbing a medal. Kennedy Bjorkman earned a medal in the 4x800 relay. Sam Brower earned her varsity letter and set a PR split time while earning points in the 4x100 relay. The Spartans are gearing up for the important conference championship, set up to take place on Friday in Belding. Back to you, Maya.
Thanks, Jack. Good job to all the people that participated.
Now on to Jake with information on the boys track team.
Thanks, Andrea. The boys track team traveled to Hopkins Saturday and finished second in the 9-team invite. Lance Riddle set a new school record running 15.01 in the 110 high hurdles, finishing first while also running a PR in the 300 hurdles. PRs were recorded by Dustin Warner in the shot put and the discus throwing, 114 feet 8 inches. Jaden Verdine in the shot put and discus throwing, over 100 feet. Brandon Clayton in the 300 hurdles. Joe DeCorn in the pole vault, finishing first. Dane Bowell in the shot put. Mason Hendrick in the 300 hurdles. Greg Janicek in the 3200. Travis Schulker in the 3200. Jackson P. Jones in the 400 and 200. Jaden Cochran in the 200. Cyrus Anderson in the 200. Blake Eisenhoff in the 100 and the 400 relay team of Eisenhoff, Anderson, Dylan Hammock, and Davian Hammock. Others earning medals were Jax Wilson in the 400 and 1600 relay, Jackson Jones 3 times, Chris Landry 3 times, Noah Momber, Isaiah Skowerneck, and Brendan Morgan. Back to you, Maya.
Thanks, Jake. Good job, Spartans.
Now on to Emma with tennis information.
The women's tennis team played the conference tournament on Saturday. North Point won with 14 points and Sparta and Calvin tied with 11 points at the tournament. Sparta placed 3rd overall in the conference standing. Placing first at 3 singles was Emma Hagler, placing second at second singles was Jenna Anderson, and placing second at 4 singles was Alyssa Horrigan. Placing second at 4 doubles was Kirsten Becker and Hannah Perry. The team has home matches on Tuesday and Wednesday this week.
Thanks, Emma.
Now we are going to wrap up the day with a quote and the Mental Health Monday Part 2.
Have a great day, Spartans.
Someday you'll miss today.
Welcome to Mental Health Mondays with Mrs. Thompson. Today's topic is anxiety. Now, Ms. Thompson, how about you introduce yourself?
I am Mrs. Thompson, and I teach our psychology classes here. I also teach English. I teach our Ferris English classes, but I teach behavioral science, which is an introduction to psychology, and then I also teach our AP psychology class.
So you're very well versed in this topic.
Yes and no. I will say I teach about anxiety and depression and all kinds of mental health issues all the time, but I am certainly not a therapist or a counselor, so I always encourage people to see our mental health professionals in the office if they have any further questions. I'm always happy to start discussions about mental health, but definitely if you feel like you're struggling with mental health, I would encourage you to see our professionals. We have some great professionals in the office.
Yeah, and also taking your classes, I know that you always say, like, take things with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Just to avoid, like, the Google search of self-diagnosis.
Oh, don't do that. Yeah, don't hop on Google and look up your symptoms. That's a really bad road to travel down. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of symptoms, what are symptoms of anxiety?
Symptoms of anxiety can be different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So some people might just walk around with a feeling of dread that they can't figure out. There's nervousness. There's, that sympathetic nervous system is all worked up. You've got adrenaline going. You can't quite figure out why. You're trying to figure out that next thing you have to worry about, and it's kind of a free-floating worry. And then for other people, it's very specific. They're focused on the thought that they can't get out of their head. They're worried about a test, or they're worried about a relationship or something like that. And again, we don't always recognize those feelings as anxiety because it does surface differently for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And what are the different kinds of anxieties?
There are a lot of different disorders that involve anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety can coexist with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So anxiety can coexist with depression, for example. Those things very commonly happen together. Anxiety can exist with something like OCD, which is very anxiety-based. It's its own category of disorders, but there's still a lot of anxiety involved. Anxiety can surface with phobias. There's something called generalized anxiety disorder that's just that free-floating worry that lasts for a long period of time. You can't quite figure out what it is exactly you're worried about, but you just got to find that next thing to cling on to. So again, so many different types of anxiety and different disorders that involve anxiety. I do want to clarify, though, you don't have to have a disorder to have anxiety. People can have acute anxiety where maybe you're just having a rough week. People can have chronic anxiety where now it's something that's becoming a little more distressing and taking over your life, and so there's a whole spectrum of anxiety. Someone could say, oh, I'm anxious about a test today, and that's okay. Or someone could say, oh, I just feel like I'm just anxious and I can't figure out why I'm anxious. And I always encourage people to talk to someone else if they're feeling that way and try to figure out where those feelings are coming from.
And that leads me to my next question is, what is the most common misconceptions or stigmas about anxiety?
I think one of the most common misconceptions is that people have to go on medication. And I think that keeps people from getting help sometimes because they think, oh, I'm going to have to engage in years of therapy and take tons of medication. And that's not always the case. I mean, everyone handles anxiety very differently. It's very relative to what's going on in that person's life and how we as individuals handle stress. Everyone handles stress differently. Everyone handles trauma differently. So I think that one of the misconceptions, like I said, is about medication. Another is that it's the same for everybody. I think people like to think there's one definition of anxiety when really, again, there's a spectrum and everybody's going to handle it a little differently. And I think we just need to respect that a little bit, because I think people are quick to judge others who use the word anxiety. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. You definitely run into that, like conversations at school where people will say that they're anxious about something and then somebody else is like, well, you can't say that because you don't have anxiety. Like, they get very territorial over certain mental health things. So, I've heard of that before for sure.
That's unfortunate because people should be able to use the word anxiety, and it doesn't necessarily mean a disorder. It can hit that level, and that's when people need to definitely recognize their own feelings and talk to somebody about it. But there's so many different types of anxiety.
And what are the school resources that we have to help with that?
We have a great staff in the guidance office. Definitely, you guys always hear the phrase yellow slip. But I always encourage people, if you have any kind of concerns about how you're feeling, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling depressed, if you can't figure out how you're feeling, but you know it's not how you normally feel, fill out a yellow slip. That's probably the best resource we have right now. You know, I mean, our staff is pretty approachable, pretty amazing, and they will of course direct you to the right place too. But you know, it's a starting point. Sometimes it's best to just start with any adult, parent, staff member, somebody you trust, to then take you to that next step of maybe getting further help.
I definitely think that's great. Just to have like a resource that's close by and that you can rely on for sure is very helpful for people.
You know, when we talk about mental health, there's such a spectrum, you know, so I think if we could just recognize that sometimes we just need help figuring things out. We just need to talk to someone for a while. We don't necessarily have to go through years of therapy and bottles of medication. Sometimes it's just a matter of doing what you need to do for yourself and talking to somebody about it.
Is there anything else you would like people to know about anxiety?
I guess what I want people to know is that it's more prevalent, I think, than maybe we sometimes recognize. And anxiety levels are a little higher now because we've been dealing with a lot over the last couple of years, everything from pandemic to politics. Social media is a big trigger of anxiety, you know, so I always encourage people, whether it's my own kids at home, my kids here at school, to try to get off the phone for a little while. You know, when we're constantly bombarded with things, it causes anxiety we don't even necessarily recognize. So just taking that mental health break, stilling your mind, and being by yourself can really help not trigger anxiety.
And then that leads me to my last question is there any helpful advice that you have for ways to reduce anxiety?
Definitely, like I said, getting off the screens for a little while, talking to someone that you trust, someone who's not going to judge if you use the word anxiety. You know, and there are other things people can do too, like breathing exercises or different exercises with imagery, mental imagery, refocusing your mind. There's so many different things that you can do. Just listen to some music, do some art, go for a run, you know. Exercise is a big one, you know. Diet, I could talk about this forever, right? Like making sure you're putting some good things into your body. There are a lot of things you can do. And if you ever have questions about any of that, definitely talk to an expert and they can help steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That was Miss Thompson with Mental Health Mondays, and next topic will be depression. Have a great day, Spartans.